Jenna is a powerhouse. I think she does come across as that on the show.
Fell in love with the two of you. I think that you guys are fantastic. And even just getting to know you just a little bit before the cameras are, you're exactly what you portray on TV, which I think is so great. And it makes for a great couple on The Housewives. I mean, what do you think was the most challenging part for you this season? Obviously, people were talking about your marriage and throwing some daggers at your marriage. Was that the most challenging thing for you?
I think it was very interesting for me because there has never been an Indian couple on the franchise before. And, I feel like the way we are is maybe different to how some people are in their marriages. A lot of it is a testament to our culture. And
yeah, there are cultural nuances. Like a lot of Indians don't wear rings. I don't wear rings.
We're cheap.
But yeah, it's all these cultural nuances of South Asian marriages that I think people on the show didn't understand. So now they get to see it.
Yeah, and I just I'm not really sure, how. I'm not really sure how we should have acted. Like, do I sit on his lap and make out every 5 minutes? No, that's not what we do. But are we affectionate in front of people? No. That's just also a cultural thing. Sure. But have we been married for 10 years and have we been together for 17 and are we happy? 100%, But I think that manifests in different ways.
Sure. Has this affected your marriage at all? Good or bad?
I think it's honestly brought us closer. Yeah, because it's you're sort of a unit and it's people attacking your unit, you're going to band together.
But were you surprised that people took such issues with the comments that you've made about your marriage or, any part about you not wearing your ring, your trip to Vietnam? Was this surprising for you?
It was very surprising because things I say, I'm like we said, that's how we are in real life. So these are just casual references to what we're talking about. Oh yeah, I'm going to Vietnam next week or whatever it is, right? There's no date. I'm going to go. I'm trying to book it right now or whatever it is. It's just how we talk and how my mind works. So to them, kind of blow things out of proportion was very, very odd.
We also live a very unstructured life. We've always kind of been, we are two individuals that are married, but, I am happily doing my stuff and he is very, very happily doing his stuff. And I think that was one of my points, on the show is that I will never, if he wants to do something, I will never hold him back because that's when I think you start seeing friction in relationships is when you start being controlling or stifling, his character, his personality or his passion to travel and do stuff. So I've always been very supportive and vice versa. If I'm I need to go on a girls' trip, get away and, go to some bars for a hot second, he might give me some trouble for 5 minutes, but at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I want to do.
And she pushes me out of the house to go on boys' trips all the time.
Oh, yeah. You're are you sure you don't want to go? Did you take your trip to Vietnam?
I did.
You did?
Yes.
Did you get a good sandwich?
I got a few good sandwiches. I ate an absurd amount of food, and I think I was there for 30 hours.
Okay.
And I had a lot of food.
Nice. He does this all. He went to Panama by himself, too. Okay. He travels a lot by himself. And it's just so funny because I feel like it really does highlight insecurity if the first thing that goes to people's minds is, oh, well, there's something shady going on. And it's weird because I feel like in society, that's what we're almost programmed to assume, which is so disappointing.
Were you disappointed in Erin then and Sai for them to automatically go to that place? Considering what, Brynn said, made that joke about Abe, getting a divorce and things like that. Yeah. So were you surprised that it went there?
I think it was a double standard at the end of it. Again, it happened we filmed a year ago. I think that everyone's sort of getting to know us as a couple more. And so hopefully they don't see it like that or they wouldn't ever make assumptions like that now versus, last year.
I've also never in my life heard of people going to Vietnam for sexual tourism. It's I've never in my life that. So just associating any South Asian country for that is okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
Vietnam is probably one of the most beautiful countries. The food's amazing. We've been there a couple times, but Ha Long Bay, everything about it is a beautiful country. The people are amazing. So to associate that is just really weird.
So my question was, if he was going to Paris or Milan or even Istanbul, would that have been the same sentiment? It's very interesting.
It is very interesting. Yeah. No, you're right. Have you gotten an apology?
I don't think you have. During the reunion, this was a topic that was brought up, and I know Erin for sure was very apologetic.
You know, in the finale, you, Sai, and Erin kind of make amends, or like at least put it aside at that moment. Looking back and seeing what they had to say about it, and you know, going through the reunion, how do you feel about Sai now? Sai
and I are on good terms. Okay. I think that, you know, this is it's a process, and it's an opportunity to reflect on yourself. I know I said a number of things that I'm like, oh God, cringe, like so awful. And I'm sure that as we're all watching ourselves on TV, and you're like, oh gosh, like it's just more of a revelation on, you know, how you're reflected and how people see you. So I hope that, you know, next season, if there is one, will be, you know, better.
Yeah. Do you feel like she is more open to you now in forming a connection?
I don't know, honestly, and quite frankly, I don't care. It's one of those things where I'll always put my best foot forward, and there's so much like you can do, and truly I am who I am. And so and I said that to her, I was like, you know, if we're not aligned, or if we're not the same, you know, personality, or not, if we're just not connecting, it's okay. You don't have to love everyone.
Pavit, were you disappointed in Brynn that she brought up the whole bipolar statement in front of everybody?
A little, because I don't think at that time, I mean, when I said it, maybe I said it, but I didn't really mean it. It was more about just, that was already discussed. But her bringing it up when it was already retracted, I don't think she needed to do that.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
It's the housewives.
It's the housewives. It comes with the territory, right?
And I love Brynn, so it's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Brynn's one of our favorites. She's actually one of the ones that, like, she'll just hang out at the house with the kids, and she's like the fifth family member almost.
Yeah, I love that so much. Do you think that Ubah misdirected her anger then? Maybe more of her anger should have been directed at Sai rather than Brynn for revealing the boyfriend secret?
I think in the moment, no one really knew what was going on. All we knew was that Brynn had said, you know, the location where this mystery man lives. And, you know, I think Ubah was very protective of her relationship in that, you know, during that whole phase. They just started dating. So I 100% understand it. And I think if in her eyes, Brynn had just said something on camera about a very private relationship. And so it made sense to kind of be, you know, direct anger towards Brynn's direction. But yeah, I mean, as you see it all unfold, you start to see the cadence of things. And even myself, like, I didn't know what had happened or who had said what. So it was even a revelation for me.
I think that's why Sai reacted so harshly, because she knew she was at fault, I think.
Yeah, and she knows, and she's very, like, obviously holds herself accountable for it. So.
Yeah. Have you met him?
Oh my God!
Man? Yes,
I'm obsessed with him. I mean, oh God, he's so gorgeous, and he's obviously very obsessed with her. They are so happy, and I'm so happy for her. She deserves it.
Yeah, definitely. Any big regrets from this season?
There was a lot of talk in the finale about me needing to stand up for myself more, and I think we've actually been brought up by our families to kind of just like not necessarily get to that point where you're, you know, I would never yell at anyone, but just like stand up for yourself in a way that like is defensive. So I think I definitely need to find my voice more, and really do like need to protect things when people are coming at me. Yeah.
I was really on the sidelines, and I didn't really.
You were not on the sidelines. You were like front and center in the middle of the shits. Like,
well, they made me be in this front and center. But,
no, they didn't make you do anything.
Of course they did.
You chose.
Huh?
You chose.
No, I'm saying that the girls brought me in for whatever it was. Yeah. Would I change anything? No, I think, I mean, the way I did this season was just to be myself. Again, we are ourselves. And I don't think I'll change a thing.
Do you still feel like Erin and Sai are mean girls?
No, okay. I don't think. I think when you're in the moment, and that was obviously I was just like getting a lot of heat. I think, look, they're both mothers. They're both wonderful businesswomen. I don't think they're mean girls. Can they be aggressive and loud and brash and abrasive? For sure. But I think this is like, you know, a time for reflection and hopefully we can all be friends.
Right. One of the most important conversations this season was maybe that conversation with you and your mom. And, you know, opening up about how you struggled with IVF for so many years, but you did it on your own.
Yeah.
How did that change your relationship with her?
There are certain things that as a daughter you just don't want to, you know, burden them with. I think in hindsight I would have done things very differently, and I think I should have and would have brought them into what I was going through, because I think as parents they also feel that responsibility and need to kind of be there for you. And I think that was the biggest takeaways of the whole thing, was she was more upset at the fact that like she could have helped me as opposed to like me trying to protect her from it. But it just, I think it opens up channels, you know, of conversation. And also for me, like, and for you, like we grew up just not talking about dating, not talking about like, you know, that stuff that's kind of taboo and like has stigma attached to it. And I think now it's like, let's just, you know, break the barriers and break the mold and really like open up conversation.
Definitely. I'm sure you had a lot of people reach out to you after that
It was
conversation.
overwhelming. People that I've actually like considered some of my closest friends that were like, I'm doing IVF and I haven't told anyone. So it definitely did what I had hoped it would do in that moment.
Good, yeah. And I know that the two of you said that you're having conversations about maybe baby number 3. I hate to even ask because I don't want to put you on the spot.
What
No
did
baby.
What did I say yesterday?
No baby.
I think it was Saturday, or what day was it raining? It was like
Saturday,
Saturday.
yes.
And we were both just sitting there in the kitchen. The house is exploded with toys.
Yeah.
We don't have help on the weekends. The kids are running around. One doesn't have pants on. One doesn't have a top on. There's
you.
yogurt, mango on the floor. And I think I just looked at him and I was like, oh, there's no way.
We're done.
But look, you never know.
No, I know.
I feel like this is a hard no.
No way.
Ubah kind of called out Jenna for being, there's the TV version of Jenna and the real life version of Jenna. Do you feel like that as well?
I don't feel like there was necessarily 2 personalities. I think Jenna is Jenna. But also Jenna is on, and we're all on, a reality TV show. So I think that, you know, for her especially, there is an element of like, what do I say, what do I not say, how do I act, how do I not act? And it was the same for all of us. You know, it's confusing. And you do have to think twice before you say something or do something. Jenna is a powerhouse. And I think she does come across as that on the show.
What was your first reunion experience like?
I didn't know what to expect. It was really, I think it was actually really good.
Okay.
It was therapy in the best way. Andy, you know, love him, but like don't know what he's thinking. So like always on edge. And I'm like, wait, is this a question that he's going to like tear into me about? But it was really, it was great to air everything out.
Definitely.
Yeah.